Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to today's video of the Go Battle League. Today we will have another set of the Open Master League with Sneasler. And basically it is a set from the stream I made a few days ago. It is the same team as I used in the last video, so we will have Sneasler as our lead with Shadow Claw, Aerial Ace and Close Combat, as well as Origin Palkia with Dragon Breath, Aqua Tail and Draco Meteor, and Ho-Oh at the back with Incinerate, Sacred Fire and Brave Bird. Alright, so let's start our first fight of the day here. What we can do here at the first fight is see that we have our Sneasler against the Origin Palkia. And here at this matchup I decided to try to catch the Aqua Tail with my own Origin Palkia, which actually worked. So we are able to catch this Aqua Tail, obviously double resisted, and now we're just throwing the Dragon Breaths against each other, but the opponent decides to switch out here into a Xerneas, which is kind of a hard counter against the Origin Palkia, obviously. But I thought with a solid timing of my moves, I can probably come to enough Aqua Tails to force a shield out of the Xerneas, which actually worked, to be honest. As you can see, I was able to come to 3 Aqua Tails and force a shield out of the Xerneas, and afterwards I decided to use Ho-Oh as a kind of a damage sponge, because Ho-Oh is obviously resisting every move Xerneas has when it uses its normal moveset. After the switch into Origin Palkia again and shielding the Aqua Tail, I decided to use my own Sneasler here and use the Aerial Ace against Palkia, and afterwards use the Close Combat against Kyurem Black, which the opponent just lets through and nearly knocks out the Kyurem. The amount of damage from Sneasler is insane here. I decided to shield the Fusion Bolt, and the opponent just uses its Xerneas to use the Moonblast, but obviously the move is resisted and isn't doing that much damage at all. And I was able to take the first win of this set here. I think if the opponent would shield this Close Combat from Sneasler with Kyurem Black, it would still be a pretty close fight here, because Ho-Oh would come to a move and it would probably be enough to take out the opponent. So I don't really know if it mattered that the opponent didn't shield the Close Combat with his Kyurem here. Alright, so let's have the second fight here. It is Sneasler against Necrozma, and when you look to PvPoke, this is actually the best matchup Sneasler can have here, but in reality I don't think it is. It really depends on the moveset from the Necrozma, and this Necrozma here played the Iron Head, so I wasn't sure if this information from PvPoke was real. But as you can see, unfortunately the opponent was able to catch my Close Combat here, and after the catch I instantly switched into my Origin Palkia, tanked the Sandsear Storm from Landorus here, and used the Aqua Tail, and I thought I can just take out this Pokemon and save a few HP, but the opponent decided to shield and equal the shields here. So I just thought, okay, let's lose this matchup here, and the opponent decided to make the Necrozma switch here at the last chance he had. I was coming in with Ho-Oh trying to farm down, but the opponent just used his Outrage, which I didn't really expect, to be honest, because the normal moveset is obviously Dark Pulse and Sunseal Strike. After I was able to farm down the Necrozma, the opponent just used Origin Palkia, which didn't shield the Brave Bird, which was lucky for me. So I was able to make the switch into Sneasler and actually knock out that Palkia with 2 aerial aces. One of them was shielded and the opponent had no shields left. So he just gave up and I was able to take the second win of this set here. Alright, so let's look into the next battle here. For now, I was really surprised that I was able to take 2 wins in a row with Sneasler at the lead, because obviously it's just a glass cannon, not the strongest Pokemon at all, but I was still trying what I can do with this Pokemon. Third battle, another times Palkia was in the lead. I tried it again to catch the Aqua Tail, but unfortunately it didn't work this time. And even more unfortunate, I just shielded in Aqua Tail here and afterwards getting completely hard countered with a Florges, which just tanked one Aqua Tail from my side here and then completely took me out with a Moonblast. Ho-Oh is a complete hard counter against Florges, which is obviously pretty helpful for me, so I decided to come in with this Pokemon. I just tanked a Moonblast and thought I will go for a complete farm down, because everything else is not really making any sense at all here. After the farm down, Palkia came back and I just threw a Brave Bird against this Pokemon. The opponent shielded and I just used a second one because he wasn't doing anything here. He shielded the second one and I was just trying to snipe him with the close combat, and it was actually enough to knock out this Palkia. Last Pokemon was Cortana and Sneasler just took out this Pokemon as well, so 2 knockouts from Sneasler here with this against this team, which was amazing, and I just had the 3rd win in a row in this set here with our lead Sneasler. Alright, let's start battle number 4 here. So far I was really impressed with Sneasler, how much damage it is actually making with the close combat, but still it's just a glass cannon. I didn't expect that to stay here. Next opponent was Kyurem Black, which just used Fusion Bolt after 6 of its Shadow Claws, and I knew I was obviously losing the CMP tie here. The opponent afterwards just tried to catch the close combat with Hapu Lele, but that didn't work, and I was switching into my Ho-Oh here. The opponent used Nature Madness, which is resisted, and I was able to come to the Sacred Fire, which the opponent shielded. And I just thought, okay, I do not want to go my second shield, so I let Tapu Lele took me out with a Psyshock. And afterwards I was just panicking a bit and didn't know if I can farm down, so I used an Aerial Ace here to knock out that Pokemon. And now what was even more surprising, that the opponent had Meloetta at the back, so actually 2 Psychic type Pokemon against an absolutely weak Sneasler in the lead, so I was completely overwhelmed here by these moves. Luckily with Palkia I was able to come to the Draco Meteor and then just knock out that Kyurem with 2 close combats back to back, and I was actually able to take win number 4 in this set against this super crazy team, to be honest. And I also didn't expect the Dazzling Gleam from the Meloetta against Palkia. But luckily they just let that Draco Meteor go through and I was able to take win number 4 here. Against the last opponent in this set, just had to wait a bit until I was able to find one, but after a short amount of time I was finding a Palkia lead again. the third one in this moveset, and I tried the same thing again. And it was the second time that it worked, that I could just catch that Aqua Tail with my own Origin Palkia here. But this time, unfortunately, the opponent had a Dragon Tail Kyurem, which just did a super high amount of damage. And I just decided that I do not want to shield my Palkia here, as it was already a bit low. I thought I was able to go for a one shield farm down with Ho-Oh here, and I just did that, to be honest. But obviously I do have Ho-Oh against Palkia now, which is just a pretty hard matchup for me. And the opponent just shielded the first Brave Bird and then was faster than me for the Aqua Tail, so I had to shield on my own to use my Brave Bird. And I knew after that it was getting pretty hard, because the opponent also just shielded the second Brave Bird. I used my close combat, but it was just not enough damage to knock out the Palkia, and it just knocked me out with an Aqua Tail. Last Pokemon then was a Zacian, but unfortunately after 4 of its snarls it just had its Wild Charge, and unfortunately this was a loss here at the last fight of this set. But still, I was able to get to a 4-1, which is, in my opinion, super surprising with Sneasler as the lead. So I was really happy about that. More P.E.K.K.A reward I got, and yeah, as I said, I didn't really expect that. But for the next video, I will definitely use a different Pokemon, and yeah, I would say that's it for today. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.